Hits the first. TNT Tuesday. These streets have a pulse, and Detective Lydia Adams knows every beat. So don't miss an all-new episode of Southland Tuesday at 9 or 10, 9 Central if you're in Central, only on TNT. Michael Redd at the scorer's bench. He'll be getting set to come in the game. 3-point lead for the Mavericks. Suns took an 8-point lead early on, and then the Mavericks in this quarter opened up a 6-point lead. Here is Vince Carter with the fall away, and Carter now 2 of 4 from the field and 4 points. 5-point lead for the Mavericks, whose bench has outscored Phoenix 20-11. Not a big surprise. The fall away in the lane by Grant Hill.
Dallas wants to get this tempo back in their pace without having Nowitzki on the floor. A lot of ball movement needed and attacking the basket.
Hill now guarding Carter. And his turnaround finally dropped. Here's Dirk Nowitzki, who is on the bench having scored 6 points. Remember, he has scored an average of 32 in the last 3 games. Under 5 minutes to go in the half. And a whistle. And a defensive 3-second violation. That's the second time called against Rick Carlisle's Mavericks. And Nash will go to the line, and Suns will get the ball.
And that happened because of a pick and roll switch. What Dallas is doing is they're zoning up and switching the pick and roll. And when they switched it that time, they had Lopez on Rodney buckets. And that right there is going to get you in trouble. Anytime the other big man had to come over and linger in the lane, you can only stay in there for about 2.8 seconds with that quick trigger.
Michael Redd has checked into the game, replacing Grant Hill for the Phoenix Suns. Redd, in his 12th year from Ohio State, had 8 points last night in the loss to the Thunder. 6-point lead. And Channing Frye with a 2-point attempt out of bounds. It'll go over to the Mavericks.
In a year when Coach Gentry says the Phoenix Suns scoring is down and they're relying on their defense, they need a welcome addition that can shoot the 3, that can help defend, and Michael Redd is that guy.
Neither team has been proficient in going to the free throw line. There have been only 10 free throws attempted in this game. Under 4.5 to go in the half. Here is Marion. Shot puts the 3. And the rebound by Dudley. Suns trying to get back in this game. They have been successful at home as of late, having won 5 of their last 6. And the foul is called. Michael Redd will shoot 2.
We've seen Michael Redd do that for many years in Milwaukee. This guy is an instant scorer. The further away from the basket, the better it is for him to shoot the 3. Not used to seeing him in the post, but once again tonight with the depleted lineup of Dallas, they have to go small, which makes it an advantage even for smaller guards in there.
Michael Redd, who had 6 straight years with 20 or more points. Last time, though, was 3 seasons ago. Hits the first free throw. That last foul was on Terry. And Jason Kidd will come in the game. And Gortat replacing Robin Lopez, the big man for Phoenix. Gortat had 8 points in the first quarter. The lead is 4 for the Dallas Mavericks. 23-17 on the year. Very tight Western Conference. The Thunder have been the dominant teams thus far, and then really a crapshoot from there on in. Here's Beaubois for 3. And good position by Gortat for the rebound.
Look for Steve Nash to speed the pace up. He knows his team needs to get easy shots. They're in kind of a lull right now, and that'll also help bring the crowd into the game, which Phoenix desperately needs.
Gortat being harassed by Marion, gets in, not enough on it, and Marion getting the rebound with 3.5 to go. 42-38. And the whistle and the defensive 3-second violation called against the Phoenix Suns. And of course, all eyes in Phoenix have been on Steve Nash, who has been a fixture here, loves the community. And the question, of course, will Steve Nash be the object of a possible trade before the deadline?
Yeah, and I'm sure people in Phoenix are saying, no, he loves this community, but for fans of Steve Nash, you know, we would like to see him maybe be able to play for a championship and not just for playoff hopes. But as we heard Nash say, he loves it here. This is where he wants to play, and so good for him. Well, hopefully his team gets to the playoffs for his sake.
Well, he has taken the high road, so to speak, so far. And there is Carter. Good fight by Carter in the basket. Vince Carter with tremendous hustle. And Carter now with 8 points. And he is the leading scorer for the Mavericks. With under 3 minutes to go, Gortat throws the ball away. And on the turnover, 7-point lead. The Mavericks can open up their biggest lead of the game. And a timeout. The veteran Vince Carter, 14 years, showing his stuff here.
Yeah, definitely showing that, hey, age doesn't matter. What matters is hard work and a second effort, and he gave both.
They will even consider trading their iconic point guard as if Steve Nash makes the request. He said he will not make the request and that he wants to stay here, and that making the playoffs has replaced for him competing for a championship, knowing that the Suns are in, as they put it, a transition mode. Says he doesn't know what's going to happen. He will be a free agent this summer. He wants to see if the Suns can attract some free agents to come here, as they've been able to do in the past, and that he will reevaluate his situation, and that happens, Dick.
All right, well, we know of stars. I think Peyton Manning's name has been in the news as of late. You never know what's going to happen.
Have they been talking about that guy?
I think so. I'm not sure. Meanwhile, Michael Redd hitting the field goal, and before that, Vince Carter, by the way, moved up in the all-time NBA scoring list with not that basket, but the previous one. He has a chance here and is fouled. Both teams have fouls to give here with under 2 minutes to go. Carter, with the previous basket, passed the great Bob Pettit on the all-time NBA scoring list. Now he's 32nd, but when you have 20,882 points, that's a mouthful.
And that is a mouthful. He's in the 20,000 club. Congratulations, and passing a great like a Bob Pettit. It's just a great accomplishment.
Mavericks had their biggest lead moments ago. Now it's down to 7, and Marion, crowd looking for a violation, and traveling is called. This is called a tape delay call.
Good point. This is called, I missed the first one, you shuffled the next one, I'm not going to miss that one.
Fortunately, he gave him something to work with.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It wasn't a makeup call at all. He just gave him 2 bad calls to evaluate.
So the lead was 9, and now it's down to 7, and the Suns trying to cut it again some more. Here is Dudley stepping back and hitting over Carter. Dudley has 6 points in the game. And Carter, the only player in double figures in the game with 10. He has the ball right now for the Mavericks. Here is Beaubois, who's checked in, double team. Carter's feeling it tonight. Here's his 3, and he's got it. And they'll call it a 3. Let's check to see whether it was a 3 or a 2. It was a 3. And now the Mavericks are up by 8. Carter feeling it and having a terrific first half tonight.
He's definitely feeling it, and he got to start it off by going to the lane. You got to start off by dunking. That just opens the basket up so dramatically. And then when you have a guy like Dirk Nowitzki on the floor with them, or Lamar Odom and the Matrix, it's going to be a nice team.
Here is Kidd, and he hits a 3. Back-to-back threes by Carter and Kidd. Leading the cheers is Dirk Nowitzki. And the biggest lead now, first double-digit lead of the game. The Mavericks are up by 11. And a foul is called. Vince Carter has 13 points, 11 here in this second quarter.
In talking to Vince and some veterans before the game, they were saying that they were relieved to be in a new position where they can just be counted on every night to do their best in the ad, not to try to be the main scorer, the main defender. And so he's going to have some uneven nights, but on nights like tonight, that's all they're hoping for is the playoffs come, everybody get on the same, page, and this team is going to be tough to check because of their spacing is so incredible, and they have shooters that validate that spacing.
And you see how Carter has thrived against the Phoenix Suns in his career. Here's Channing Frye missing from the perimeter, and a foul is called against the Mavericks. A loose ball foul against Dallas.
The foul's number 25, Vince
and it will be against Carter his first foul of the game. So the penalty is here, and Gortat will go to the free throw line.
Both teams are going to have to make adjustments at halftime. The interior defense for both teams right now is lacking. They're both small in size. They've gone to a smaller lineup, but that's no excuse for not communicating and not being in the right positions at the right time.
Gortat hits the first. Want to remind you, coming up, it's the Sprint halftime report. Matt Weiner, Jack, and 3D Dennis Scott will have scores and highlights from our Atlanta studio. And Marion, going to the bench, has scored only 5 points, but you know how active he is defensively. And here's Gortat trying to make it a 9-point game. Gortat with 10 points and 7 rebounds has continued his superb play for the Suns. Differential of about 2.5 seconds between the clocks. Winding up in this first half, Kidd. Tough pass to Carter, close in. Carter pulls back, misses the three. Kidd will get a chance. Final seconds, Kidd has to loft it up, and Channing Frye made it tough for him, and that'll do it. So the Dallas Mavericks with a strong second quarter. Carter with 13, Kidd with 9 in the game. And so the score at the half, the Mavericks 53 and the Suns 44. And after this break, we'll send you to our Atlanta studio for the Sprint halftime report with Matt Weiner, Shaq, and 3D Dennis Scott.
The former MVP, Steve Nash, who went 1 of 2 for 3 points with 4 assists at the break. They could use more offense out of him and everybody else. The Suns find themselves trailing 53-44 at the break. Back inside our Atlanta studio, it's the Sprint halftime report. Matt, Shaq, and 3D Dennis Scott. Dallas is on top. The world champions went through so much upheaval in the offseason with all the players they let get away via free agency, and then they made the trade for Lamar Odom, and it looked like there was some promise there, and he's had a disastrous season since then. 35% from the field he's shooting on the year, 25% from three-point range. He went away from the team for a little while. They got something out of him in this first half.
Well, finally Lamar is starting to get back to being LO, and we gave him that nickname because we know what he brings to the table, big fella. And sometimes when you get traded, it takes you a little bit longer to understand that it's still a business. So tonight, finally, we're starting to see some of that LO that got championships in L.A., knocking down the jump shot. And then, oh, his baby said, I see you, boo, out there hooping. I see you hooping, boo. That's the one we want to see. This is the guy getting to the basket, being aggressive. And Mark Cuban said it. If they have a chance or want to have a chance to get back to the promised land, Lamar Odom has to get back. And this guy right here, half man, half amazing. Which one of those guys are going to show up? Both these guys need to show up for the rest of the season if the Dallas Mavericks want to have a chance to get back to the promised land.
Odom was 3 of 5, 7 points. And as you see, Vince Carter went 6 of 11 for his 13 points. And you heard Dick Stockton mention it, past the great Bob Pettit for 32nd all time on the NBA scoring list. Do you think Chloe calls him Odom at home? Or?
She probably calls him Big Boo at home. Big Boo.
For the Suns, you know, they have one of the better young centers in the league in Marcin Gortat, a double-double guy having a career season, and they've gone to him early on.
Gortat is playing great this year. Last year he averaged 10 and 8. This season he's averaging 16 and 11, and I'm about to show you why.
Bring on the Shaquille Illustrator.
Right now, he's posting up a little guy, and Steve Nash, you know what he's going to do, but when you post up this high, you give the guy a push, and you have a lot of room. So Steve Nash does what he does, makes a great pass, 2 easy points for Gortat. The next play, Gortat is going to set a screen for Dudley, and then when Dudley comes off, one of the greatest pick setters in the game, Steve Nash, is going to reward his big man by setting a pick for his big man. Gortat gets the ball, jump hook off the glass, bam, another 2 points. And this is why I really like him. He's the son of a professional boxer named the Polish Hammer, and this is what he gives us right now. Right now, in the post, right now, we call that barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken?
That guy right there is too little. And throw it down, big
not
man.
like that.
Throw it down, and this is why this guy's having a hell of a year, 16 and 11, one of my favorite centers.
And Shaq, I know you love stats. At the All-Star break, John Schumann, NBA.com, from player to player. Steve Nash to Gortat, number one 1-2 punch in the NBA as far as going from one player to another. Gortat, you stay in your lane, you stay in the lane, you don't shoot a lot of jump shots, and I know it's one of the other reasons he likes Gortat. Doesn't shoot a lot of jump shots.
There are only about a dozen or so guys in the entire NBA averaging double-doubles. The Suns have 2 of them in their starting lineup, and Steve Nash and Marcin Gortat. But they've got some work to do, down by 9